What's up, everybody? We're back here at Night Owl Performance. Today we are going to fix my torn wastegates. We're going to take off my whole turbo kit. We're going to inspect all the welds. We're going to heat wrap a lot of it that wasn't heat wrapped before. My turbo kit is just modified truck manifolds turned forward that I welded in my garage. So I just want to make sure none of the welds are leaking, there's no cracks or anything. And we're gonna put new TiAL Sport wastegates on and a new TiAL Sport blow-off valve on. I have China wastegates now that actually didn't last that long. So if you go on the F-Body forums and check out a setup like this and they say Chinese stuff's okay, don't use it, because my car is over boosted. It didn't last that long. It didn't even last a whole season in competitive scenarios. And it's been a worry of mine ever since I put them in. I just couldn't afford the real thing then. And it got my car up and running, but now I'm paying the price by doing this again. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think I found out where all that oil came from in my last video. My catch can's leaking. I gotta switch you guys to the other side so I can get this off. Alright, so now we got to take all this off. Wastegates, turbo, Y pipe, and headers. So usually I take the turbo off with the Y pipe still attached. I undo the oil drain line and the oil feed line, take the whole Y pipe off, and then I go back. I'll get the headers after. Prop it up like that so oil doesn't spill out. That one just got a little shorter.
Oldest. It looks like it's a 5-inch. It's ridiculous.
Is this thing on?
This is a 5-inch.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, that goes on.
You're ruining my video.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't pull my wiener. You're gonna see.
I mean, you can. I've cut it out, but I might use it later
No. I mean, that's
for
fine.
myself.
His wiener or the video?
The video of his wiener.
We're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, we're all talking about the same thing.
Of course.
On the same page here. Alright guys, I got my turbo off. This is what it looks like off the car. The other wastegate's actually attached to the passenger side header, but this is a Borg Warner T6 hot side 400 series turbo. It's a 475. It's a big mamma jam. I think the shipping weight on it was 45 pounds. And you know, it does the job. That's what the car looks like without it on. The downpipe just hangs out there. I know you guys like unboxing things, so I got some boxes to unbox. Straight from TiAL Sport USA. Let's see what we got. Box number 1. Woo! Nice purple TiAL wastegate. Whoop. Pretty beautiful compared to my Chinese ones. Full spring kit, everything I need. Box number 2. Oh, believe it or not, I have 2 wastegates on my car, and it's another purple wastegate. Just as beautiful as the first one. And box number 3. Now, I know y'all don't think I have 3 wastegates on my car, do you? I don't have some triple scroll thing or rotary where I can run 4 wastegates. It is a purple TiAL blow-off valve. Actually, this one looks quite a bit different from the Chinese knockoff. Looks a lot better. This big box here is just a metal tubing. Maybe we'll make some new dumps, some new mounts, some new flanges. Just some metal tubing I bought, polished stainless steel. We'll take it all together. Alright guys, we gotta spring these wastegates. So this combination, red and black, should give me 1 bar of boost, which is actually what I'm aiming for. So these are the springs we're gonna put in it. We gotta take the top off, so we gotta take these bolts here out to put the springs in. This is the firing ring. So these fittings here are for water cooling. This is a water-cooled wastegate. We're not going to use the water-cooled wastegate because I think, you know, applications like drift cars, it's probably fine without water cooling. But if you had like a rally car or a time attack car, probably want to water cool it, especially if it's in like a really hot area of your engine bay. So we're just going to use these plugs here and plug them. And these are for the vacuum lines. One on the top, one on the side. So let's go ahead and spring this. If you remember my last video, this is what's ripped on mine. And they didn't last long. Not only that, actually when I got those Chinese wastegates, these set screws right here were all loose. So I had to tighten them up and basically rebuild them before I even put them in my car. So actually the spring sits right on top of the diaphragm and it's connected to the valve right below it. So it opens and closes like this. And these springs dictate when it opens and closes. So that's how much boost you're actually going to put on it, or put through it. So if you look inside the diaphragm, there's actually little grooves. This is where the springs sit. So we're going to put the smaller red spring right inside there. The bigger black spring top and through right in the grooves. Then we're going to put the top back on just like that, squish it down, and bolt it on. Which is terrifying. Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Well, let me get my hand out of the way. Okay, hold on, get the other side here. Okay, one more.
Should stay.
Yeah, I just don't like all the pressure on one screw, you know what I mean? So, as with most circular applications, you want to skip a couple screws. You don't want to go right next to each other. Make sure you tighten it down evenly. These are tiny little screws, so don't crank on them. Alright, so we're going to use these plugs to plug the air ports we're not going to use. Which actually, this looks pretty neat actually. It looks like we can use this for the top air port, you know, instead of the top, which is great for me because my intercooler pipe sits right here. And if I can, I'd like to use this one. So I'm gonna put a plug here for now. I gotta make sure it fits because it's pretty crowded in my engine bay around these wastegates. And if I can have them sitting like this, with this coming off the bottom, I think it'll be perfect. And the other side port, I think we're gonna use this one here. This will be the passenger side wastegate. So I'll have one vacuum line coming off here, one vacuum line coming off here. So let's... You know what guys, my frame rail's in the way of using this one. So we're gonna block this one off. We're gonna use both bottom ones, air. Put these banjo bolts in, crush washer on either side, straight to the port you want to use. Since this is my passenger side wastegate, it sits like this in my car. I'm gonna have the vacuum lines come off the bottom at kind of an angle like that, just so I can get the vacuum lines on easily. My frame rail's kind of in the way, my intercooler piping's in the way. This lives in a very tight area. So I'm going to try to set it up like this so that when it's sitting in the car, you know, both my vacuum lines very easy to access right in front. Alright guys, so I'm going to do a quick comparison. These are the wastegates that were on my car. They look exactly alike. They don't have the water ports, just the air ports. But, you know, if you go on the F-body forums or, you know, some forums, they swear by these things. And they did not last on my car. You saw my last video. They've been torn for a long time. And not only that, these are super easy to strip. So like this port here, this port here. And when I got these, the clamp that I came with for the wastegate dump is this piece of crap. This thing is too big for the flanges. And my wastegate dumps were basically wobbling, and I had to make a little gasket to stop it from wobbling. So I made this, and it worked okay, but these end up crushing down, then they wobble again. This always stays the same size, so everybody was always playing with my wastegate dumps, wondering why they rotate. This is why. This thing's crap. I'm gonna throw it in the trash. Out with the old, in with the literal best in the business. Look at those, sitting pretty. Alright, so I cut some 15-degree pie cuts, and we're going to start building up from the wastegate and then ending at the top of the hood where the holes are. So first thing he's going to weld is the flange to the tube, and then we're going to use the pie cuts to determine where the top's going to be. of that. Okay, tighten up the wastegates, zip tie all the vacuum lines, and we're done. Alright guys, it is about 1:30 in the morning here. We got the new wastegates in, the new blow-off valve on, we got some new dump tubes made, much prettier than my old ones, and we are done. We're all buttoned up here.